Welcome to Finally Talking Podcast. My name is Pete, and today I'll be talking about what my aims are for this YouTube channel, sort of. I think I'll be ranting too. I'll do these a bunch. Nothing scheduled, nothing memorized. But what I want to aim to do here is provide you an entertainment channel that can give you some culture, some politics, some of the things that I'm interested in that I hope you'll be interested in too. I want to kind of give you a heads up on my political leanings so that when I do talk political or I'm talking to a guest and it starts to veer toward that briefly, that I do come from a left, progressive, liberal point of view. I grew up in a union family. My dad was a mechanic, and I'm still pro-union, pro-morality, normal things that progressives do support, those kind of policies. I can handle it if we have a political difference and you sincerely believe in some kind of a budgeting issue, if you're really sincere about budget deficits and debts. I do not want to roll back. In fact, I do want to expand various policies of the country related to Social Security and health care. I also want to end police brutality, or at least get the police more in line with the way our society is. I am concerned about the militarization of them. I'm concerned about I can't even go to a football game anymore without feeling like I'm in Nuremberg. At times it's a little bit too much military. Now, I do support the troops. We have military members in my family, so I'm not some crazy person who's talking about crazy things. These are all very normal things for most people. I do draw the line at immorality. I draw the line at the kind of person that spreads hate, the kind of person that says that the Newtown kids, those 23 kids or so that were killed about 8 years ago at their elementary school, laying in a pool of blood, that was staged as a deep state hoax. That's bullshit. It just is. Will I get monetized for this video? No. But it is. There's no less strong word I can use, and I can use a lot stronger toward that. If you're the kind of person that's going to spread that kind of stuff, I don't have time for you in my life anymore, honestly. I think I've done what most people on Facebook have done and either unfollowed or blocked or muted people that I didn't agree with in the family. But at this point, I'm kind of thinking, you know what? I'm sick of it. I'll come together with you and fight you on some policies, but in terms of some of this indecent stuff, the validity of the election, all that stuff, that's disruptive, un-American, and immoral. It's indecent, it's stupid, it's immature, and I think it's misguided, to say the very least. There are historical places that we can look back on as examples for this and what this can lead to. I don't think it's very good at all. And I think people that aren't coming out against this kind of attitude and behavior may be part of the problem. So I come from it not only politically left, but in my life, I was severely bullied when I was a kid. I mean, we're talking about punched around, given swirlies, thrown into a locker, that kind of thing. Really, really, really bullied for about 5 years there, with a lot of onlookers allowing for it. And it did make me stronger, although I would say that I would rather have the character I have today without have gone through that. I just wish it would have been done differently. In other words, yeah, it built my character. I'm no longer willing to put up with that shit. But it could have been a little bit easier. I will say that. I wish I had it a little easier. Now, I'm over it from the perspective of that, I'm obsessing over my former classmates, but I haven't forgotten them. And sometimes I'll see them at reunions looking all weathered and beaten down and sickly, or just very, very old, older than me. And I think I look pretty old. And I think to myself, yeah, I have not forgotten. You may have, but I have not. And it's strengthened me. That's called a chip on my shoulder, and I wear it proudly. But in truth, I'm also a person who has got severe panic disorder and depression. I don't know if it came out of that. I did think that it skewed my perspective on the world to make everything kind of dark and scary. And when I say panic disorder, I mean actually passing out from anxiety attacks, not fainting, but actually my heart beat slowing down and dropping to knock me down. That's happened in the hospital when I got scared and they had me hooked up. So it wasn't about hyperventilation. It was a physiological response to it. I've run out of shopping centers and closed places. I have a hell of a time attending meetings at work, especially when they close the door. And depression, well, it's depression. You know, it's not just like I feel I have bad days. I get sad sometimes. It's really more like depression, just like you would think it would be. So that kind of skews my way of approaching things. I try to be respectful, but I'm also human. And I do lose my cool sometimes with people who are practicing a really lousy behavior. You know, I grew up in a Lutheran household, wasn't strong Lutheran, but it did inform me on my religious belief system. And in terms of belief systems, I'll be very clear on this. I don't believe in science. I accept it. Science is not a belief system, okay? If you're out there saying that you think the world is flat, if you think it's only 5,000 years old despite all the evidence against it, if you think that there is no climate change, I don't really have any way to get through to you on that. I think there's people that do believe those things that I just discussed, and I don't really have a lot of time for them, honestly. I'll engage it to a certain point, but whatever, man. You can't change some people. But this show is not just going to be about topics like that. It's going to be cultural topics. It's going to be musicians. It's going to be writers and stuff like that. I plan on having guests in, and I plan on doing these kind of rants on a daily basis. Or I better take that back. Not really a daily basis yet. I'm not there yet. Again, like I say, I'm just trying to figure out how any of this works. For all I know, my mute button is on, and I'm just going to upload somebody talking, but you can't hear them. And it won't be your device. It'll be my recording. So, welcome to Finally Talking. Let's move forward, and I'll see you on the other side. Thanks.